Hello, hello. You found me. Yay. Okay, great. Great, great, great. It's so good to see somebody here when I pop on. Although it's not showing me anyone's here, but I see that you're here. I see April and Timmy. Okay, good, good. Now it's showing. It's just slow going. There you guys are. Yay, Michelle's here too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad y'all are excited. Hobby Lobby didn't have the right tote, so I got a different one. Perfect, perfect. Good. Just glad that you found something. So I'm going to start with, here's the supplies that I have that I'm going to be using. Okay, so we've got paint. I have a few different colors because I wanted the stained glass to be different colors. And then I think I'm going to do my chapel this blue color today. Maybe. We'll see. And then my paint palette that I'll be using. And then I've got some different size paint brushes. I'll be using this one to put on the gesso, and then these will be to color in other things. I have just a little space for what all I'm doing today. So this bag is so big, it's going to be hard, but we'll make it work. Okay, I've got my, this is going to be to hand letter my lettering. I've got, just because I have it, I'm using an erasable pen, and that's going to help me position where everything goes. And then I'm using, I may use both paint markers. I'm not sure. I just pulled them both out. One is a medium tip and one is an extra fine tip. So this one might help clean up some edges if I need that. Stick that over there. I've got some paper towels and I've got some water. Okay. Also, I have my template. I've already cut around the template, and yours is not colored. It's just black and white. So, hey, Donna. You're excited to do it, but watching first and taking notes. That's always a good thing. And I have graphite paper because it just helps me get my pattern where I want it. And then this is a piece of paper. It's just a blank piece of paper that you want to put in between your bag so it doesn't bleed through. So I'm going to start off with doing that. That one has a little hole in it. That's probably not a good thing. Let me get another piece. Or maybe a couple of pieces, but that way if it goes through, it'll, not seep to the back of your bag. So the first thing I'm doing is just sticking this down in my bag. Okay, make sure it's going right where that pocket is. That's where I'm going to do my lettering. There we go. Okay, good. This is canvas. This right here is canvas. This is burlap. I did paint on a burlap bag. Let me show you that. And it was not my favorite thing to do. I didn't love it. The paint just soaked down in there, and it just didn't work as well. If you want to do it, just make sure you have some gesso underneath it. But once I started playing with this bag, it was so much better. Ooh, you know what I did wrong? The paper goes in here. Sorry, the paper goes in here so it doesn't go into the bag. I'm glad I saw that. Since I have a pocket. I saw that Tammy I think it was Tammy that got a bunch of different style totes. So I'm kind of anxious to see what all you make with that, Tammy. Okay, so first thing I do is I'm going to get my template out and decide where I want it to go. It's pretty well centered. And then I've got my graphite paper. And if I put it centered and I put the centered on top of it, everything should be centered. Does that make sense? Now, I'm only using this for, hang on, let me think real quick. At this point, actually, I don't even need this yet. I'm trying to remember how I did this. I'm only using my pen and just kind of giving myself a guide on where I want the gesso to go, because we're not even tracing the letters yet. I just want to paint my gesso on here. I could go all the way to the edges if I want to, but it looks cute not having it do that, if that makes sense. And here is my gesso. It's white. This is what gives you that something to hold on to. So all I have right now is just a pen mark I'm trying to remember. Hang on real quick. Put some of this in here. And use this brush so it'll go a little bit faster. Okay. Now I'm just going to paint it on just like I would. And I don't have to be perfect with it. I've seen them where they have that real uneven look on the edges and it looks pretty cute. So don't worry too much about that. But you do want a good solid covering here. Dries pretty quick too, which is good. So you don't have to just sit and wait on me. But I've got my heat gun always handy to make things move along faster. So this is our first step. Well, besides putting the paper in between. And you know, you learn those things. That's why I love that I can save y'all some tips, save y'all some steps, because whenever I did, you know, when I didn't have the paper in between and stuff like that, I just love to be able to tell you what not to do. I'm going to need some more of this. Y'all can hear little Apple. She's coughing away. But she's happy. As long as she can eat, as long as we give her food, she just is happy little doggy. But she has congestive heart failure, so if you didn't know that. She's a sweet girl. She's my oldest one. She's, I don't know how old she is. I'm going to guess 13. Maybe. I don't really know. We adopted her, and she was 3 or 4 when we got her, so that's why I can't keep up. But my other babies are getting so big. Some of you were with me when I got them, when they were puppies. And Cricket is now, she turned 3 on my birthday. We have the same birthday. And then Twiggy is 2. And she'll be 3 till next summer. So they're growing up. Time flies. And I can't believe my little Oreo's been gone so long. It's crazy. Okay, I have some little balls of paint that I'm going to get off of here. And that's just because my jar was not closed. I mean, you know how it, when you close it and it still has the paint on it, some of those little pieces stick on there. So you just want to get all that off. Okay, so that's covered pretty good. Got some kind of string or something on there. Get all of your cat hair, dog hair, and all that off, right? Does any of y'all have problems with that? Luckily, mine don't really shed that much, but I know when we have animals around, they love to be in our craft room, right? Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to put that to the side. Well, I'm going to go ahead and dry it a little bit, I think. Had to reboot your laptop, but you're here. Good. Oh, you found a purse over the shoulder for clearance for $6. I thought the prices were amazing. Like this bag, $3.99. I was like, that is crazy. If you guys decided y'all wanted to make some for Christmas gifts, or if you wanted to sell some, you could make and sell them for the holidays. People are always looking for something unique to buy. While I'm drying this, I'm also getting rid of my erasable pen marks. So I'm just heating that up enough to where that goes away. But this is great because it gives it something to grip onto. My pen marks keep coming back. I don't know why. But you want this to be good and dry before you go to the next step. $1.99. Wow, that's amazing. So fun. I feel like that's pretty dry. I thought I would need more time to let it dry, but I think it's, I'm gonna give it a little bit more. Yes, that'd be great, Donna, to make them for gifts. For sure. Just make sure it's good and dry. I'm gonna go ahead and if I were not teaching you right now, I might wait a little bit longer. I might walk away, go do something, and come back. But since we're ready to move on, now I'm gonna put this here, and then I'm gonna. And if you wanted to line it up even safer and make sure it's where you want it to be, you could cut around your graphite paper and kind of center it better. But I think I've got mine where I want it. And this is, if you end up having like pins from a sewing room or something like that, tape, or I've just got some clips to hold in place. So it'll stay while I am drawing on it. I don't want it to go anywhere. Well, that's crooked, so make sure I fix that. Probably need to tape that down too. Might as well do it right, because if you're doing it, you want it to turn out. So grab a piece of tape. Put that right there. Don't want it to move. I'm still looking. Does that look pretty centered? Now, since I'm sitting down, I might want to stand over it and look at it. So I'm thinking maybe it should go over to the left just a little bit. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, now you should be able to trace it here and it go onto your gesso. Let's make sure before we get too far. I'm going to have to press harder. That wasn't hard enough. Now I can see it, but barely. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need some guidelines to go by. You might not want to scribble like I'm doing. Or like maybe scribble neater than I'm doing. Make sure that's transferring. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can see it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead with my lettering. And I would be interested to know if anybody's doing their own lettering. Now remember, this is not going to be erasable because it's the graphite paper that's actually writing on there. I'm just using my erasable pen because it was handy. So glad y'all are with me today and you found me. That's the best part. With no problem. Okay, now it should all be done, but before I get too far, I just want to lift it up and make sure. Did it transfer? Can you see that? I can see the words. I'll pull it up to the camera to see if you can see it better. Yep, it all transferred except my doors. I forgot to do the doors. Okay, I'm glad it's still there because once you move it, it's hard to get it lined back up. It's almost impossible. Okay. Now, I'm done with that. Let me hold it up to the camera. See how much better? I mean, you can see it pretty good. I can see it really good. So from here, I'm going to decide what colors I want to use for everything. And like I said earlier, I think I'm going to do the chapel in this light blue color. And I started doing the painting, and then I did the lettering at the end. So let me think. I'm thinking that's so liquidy. It's really, really liquidy. Okay, so find a brush that's about the right size. That'd probably be pretty good, I think. I'm just going to start coloring right on the chapel. Is everybody going to do the chapel, or is anybody going to do the flowers? You might have to go over with 2 coats. I did on my flower one. Might be better to kind of cut around the edges to kind of keep your lines clean. You'll try yours later. Now, if you're worried about getting this straight, you could put a piece of tape there, but it's handmade, so it's not going to be perfect, right? If you have a really steady hand, you won't need any assistance. But if you're a little bit shaky, tape might make you feel better. And wait till it dries to take the tape off. I may cut in with a smaller brush. And then I went around the whole thing with my black marker too to clean up the edges. So that's another thing that we'll do. It is With My Soul. Yes, I know. Isn't that the best song ever? And the meaning behind it. Oh. If you don't know the meaning behind it, look it up because I will cry talking about it. Wish I could play it right now. Okay. I think I am done with the first layer with that at least. And I probably should put my brush in water or clean it out. Okay. Now I'm going to get, that needs to dry because I don't want to, the next step, I don't want it to bleed into other areas. But I need to be thinking about what colors I want for my windows and my door. Okay. So I want yellow for sure somewhere. And you don't need a whole lot, so you can always add more. That one's not even open. This is some new paint I got from Amazon. Not a fan, so I didn't even tell y'all about it. I'm using it just to use it up, but it's called Marte. It's not. I don't think it's that great. It's supposed to be thick acrylic, but it's not. And I read the reviews, and that's what they said, and I got it anyway. So that's all my fault. You know, they're mixed reviews, though. Put a little bit of purple on there. The lid has a lot of purple, so I'll probably pick some of that purple up. But I'm going to get a smaller brush for this. That might not be what I want. I want something I can control a little bit more, a little bit shorter. Let me look real quick. Maybe that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use the purple since it's overflowing. And so what I want to do is make sure when I paint that I know that it needs drying time in between. And it's okay if I don't touch the edge because I am going to outline it with a black. So there's that. And then I'm going to, while I have the purple out, I'm going to go ahead and do purple up here. Okay, that's really all I'm going to use for the purple, I think. And I've got this pink, a little bit of that in there. And orange. That one's not open either. But you can get paint pretty cheap from Walmart. Or maybe you're already collect paint. Okay. Now I'm going to clean that brush and use it again. But first, I want to make sure that anything that I'm going to touch these purples to, it's not going to bleed. I've wasted a lot of the paint, so you just don't need much. Probably just painting out of the lid of the paint is enough. Okay, you want to dry your brush off. Now I'm going to pick another color. And I'm going to do it up here. And over here. Okay, try it a little bit more. Now I'm going to go with another color, clean my brush off, and dry it off. You don't want it too wet. Okay, and I've got this pink color. It's going to be next. Dry your brush off. And the reason I'm going on with it right now is because the two next to this are already dry. So I don't have to worry about drying in between that one. Should I zoom in? Y'all, I should have zoomed in a long time ago. You can always suggest that, by the way. Much better. Okay. Now I'm going to go up here with the pink, but I just don't have a lot of... That had a little bit of water on it. You can see how it's... Or maybe the paint wasn't mixed up good. Could be either one of those things. Now, what color should I do the doors? I just messed up. Now I'm going to have to pick either two totally different. I should have moved that. I don't know why I went down here. I should have moved it up there so I could pick. Well, I could go back with purple and orange over here. Maybe I'll do that. Instead of bringing in a new color, if I bring in a new color, then they're going to be the same and wrapped together. Okay. I could do yellow. No, this is fine. So think about it a little bit harder than I did before you start painting. I'll dry that one a little bit. If I do yellow, it's going to be right by that yellow. If I do orange, maybe orange. No one's going to notice later once it's all done, but right now, it's going to bug me. They can all be different colors if you want them to, yes. But the way I painted it, those two are going to have to be the same color. So, but yeah, you can do them all different colors, however you want to do it. It's fine. Sometimes it looks good to tie in multiple, like do some of the colors twice. Totally up to you. Okay, now my doors. I guess I'll do purple since I'm kind of got a lot of purple going on. now I'll draw this, and then I'm going to go ahead start on my lettering. And while I'm working on lettering, this can be drying some more, and then I can go back over if I need to do a second coat on it. I can see some places, there's just like, there's little places I could touch up, and that you can do. You still have some wet paint. I might not have to paint the whole thing over. I might can just like touch up parts of it that needs to be touched up. But it's pretty dry over here. It looked a lot better after I did a second coat last time. But we'll see. The main thing is just not to get in the way of yourself. So for example, if I had done my lettering and then I was going to come over here and paint, I might smear my lettering. So you just have to just take it one step at a time and make sure you're not in your own way. I'm going to move this out of the way because I don't want to smear any paint on it while I'm focusing on something else. And I'm going to get my painter marker, which this is just from Walmart. Any brand is fine as long as it's a paint marker. You can't just use any marker on here. If you used an acrylic marker, it just it would just wipe off or wash out, or it wouldn't look very good. And I'm just going to try to have as steady of a hand as I can and go over this. And you could do any color you wanted to. I like black, but doesn't mean you have to use black. Everybody in the neighborhood, I think, is doing their yard right now. And I am going to go back, actually right now, before I get down too far, I'm going to go and do some downstrokes. Try not to get my hand in it. It really makes a difference to do those downstrokes. It sounds like they're in my yard, but when I went and looked, they were not. I don't know where they are. Does it usually come on Tuesdays? Have y'all thought about some more projects we can do for the future? Okay, now my marker's getting a little bit dry, so I want to pump and prime it, but I want to do it on something that's not my bag. Because what if the ink just started flowing out? I would ruin it. I don't want to do that. So with my trying to keep my hand out of the way, not to smear. Okay. Now, be really easy to mess up this by trying to fix this. So let's dry it for a few minutes. And then another thing you could do is put a piece of paper on top of it if you're going to rest your hands on it. I do that a lot. But if I were at home, I would walk away and go do something else, let it dry. I mean, if I were at home, I am at home. If I were not teaching a class, that's what I would do. Okay. Now, I'm going to get a piece of paper, my template, and I'm just going to put it right here. Out of my, so I'm not putting my hand on it. I didn't want to do it this way because I didn't want it to distract y'all, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I could touch up some of the paint. And touch up some of the purple a little bit. The rest of the purple looks good. The other colors look okay to me. And I already added some to the blue. I could do a little bit more blue maybe. But what I mean by you don't need much and you can just get the paint out of your lid. Like here. Dry your brush good. And see my hand's not resting on the lettering. It's twofold, so you don't get any paint on it and you don't smear anything in case it's not fully dry. But I think I'm good with the church because all those white spots are going to be covered up with my black marker. That's not quite dry. Okay. So now I've got a lot of thinner lines here, and I'm afraid to use my thick painter marker on that. Now the roof I think would be fine, and the cross. But as far as the details of the rest of it, I feel like I need the finer marker. For me personally. Doesn't mean you do. And this would be cute brown if you wanted to do it brown instead or another color. There's my little cross. Okay, I need to prime my marker. It is getting dry. Okay, Now, I'm going to switch markers. Well, I could do the outside of the church with this. It depends on if you like bold lines or thin lines. And your church is a little bit more symmetrical. I redrew it on your template using the symmetry tool, so it would be a little bit more even. And I tried to print out the template for me and it didn't print right, so I just went with this. Okay, there's that. I'm okay with that. But for the fine details, I want to get that. We're doing this in no amount of time. I mean, it's been 40 minutes. So you can paint a bag in an hour. Anybody want to see the tassel? Y'all might not be as excited about the tassel as I am. I just think it makes the bag look so cute. This needs to come down a little, I think. Gonna connect that. Did anybody come here today really wanting to see the tassel? Or am I just entertaining myself? Okay, yes. Michelle says yes. Okay, good. Okay, good. Y'all are too busy working. Let me get my little marker going and making sure that it's ready. Okay. This is Linda Redmond sent me these and they're amazing. The Grabby acrylic marker, but it's the smaller version. Ooh, it's still really, really juicy. See that juicy ink coming out? You can always go back and make it thicker if you need to, but it's really hard to go back and make it thinner. Apple says, I'm hungry. Mama, it's time to eat lunch. Oops. Now this, sometimes the bad thing about this is it'll bleed. That bled out just a little bit. Because of the texture of the bag. And it's the tip of this marker that does that. So I'm just going to ignore that for now, and I think it's going to be okay. Could probably go back and put a little paint on there if I needed to. Ah, splatter, splatter. That's not good. Make my doors. Oops, I did it again. Okay, I'm going to dry it and then I'll see if I can touch it up with some paint. We use our glaze pens on the windows and doors. Ooh. I wish I knew the answer to that. I'm trying to think of why you couldn't. I mean, it's waterproof. I would probably like doing that better than what I just did with this marker. I could try it. I wonder if I did do that on my original. let's just see. I've got my glaze pen right here. I don't know if it's going to show up since I've already done some stuff, but I think it does. Yeah. It looks like it. Yeah, I think that's a good. Yeah, that might be a better choice if you have that option. I'm going to now see. I want that to dry first. See if I can like dab some blue paint over that where those little. That's not good. I think that I like that glaze pen a lot better. Now I'm taking some paint. I want the brush to be dry. I'm just going to put little dabs of paint right where that black was. I think it's going to clean it up just fine. See that? I'm just dabbing. Yeah. It's just a little wet where that spot is, but I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see better. They were sticking out pretty far, so that helped a lot. If you smudge black paint on the gesso, can you paint over it? Yes. I mean, wait. If you smudge black paint on the gesso, I bet you could put more gesso on it. Like, are you saying if I accidentally got some out of here, could I put some more gesso and cover that up? I bet you could. Looks better. Okay, so now if you wanted to add more detail to it and you think of some things to do, please do it. But I'm going to put some paint aside so I can show you my finished one and my tassel. Okay, so here's my finished one. And it's not perfect, but I'm sure when y'all saw it, you didn't notice any details of it not being just perfect shape. I'm going to take this tassel off and show you what I did. It's real chunky. It's real big. And the trick to making it chunky and big like that. Oh, I wish this light wasn't shining on here. After it all dries, spray them with something. Yeah, I think it's always a good idea to spray stuff. And I would use just like a clear acrylic spray. Trying to get that. Oh, there we go. I think I got most of it off of there. Okay, so this is a bunch of scraps. Now, let me show you something. Okay, I'm a little obsessed with ribbon scraps. And to buy ribbon scraps is expensive. I mean, to buy ribbon and then make scraps out of it is expensive. So I have these sets that I buy from Michael's. And they're like $10 or something for a handful of them. So like, for example, and they come in like color families. So like say this, and I'm just making this up, but I'm just saying like this would be a set, or, this would be a set. So I have these sets all put on here. There's just ribbon everywhere, but that's a great way, affordable way to buy the ribbon. I went to Walmart and I knew that I wanted some chunky yarn because that really makes it thicker too. Let me see how long I made this. I think I did 12 inches. So if you have any yarn anywhere, you could add that. Let me find the end of this. There's no end. There it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just cut, I don't know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 at 12 inches. And it's not perfect. 3, oops. 4, 5, 6. Okay. These aren't my fabric scissors. So there's those. Just going to put those up here. Put that yarn away. Then I've got some more yarn. If this is yarn that would match your bag, right? Or you could do like this, where you just go back and forth and cut it all at one time. Okay, now you're just going to keep layering like that. Now, what makes them really bulky, not only the yarn, but if you use fabric. So I bought some fabrics from Walmart as well that were just little squares or fabric squares. And I did the same thing. I did about 12 inches on these. And then I cut about, I don't know, half an inch or something, or 3/4, just a little bit. And then I start ripping them. And so I've got these pieces really bulk it up. So I'm going to do like three of those of a couple different colors. So there's orange. Here's a red. Oh, that one's longer. Here's a piece I had left over from another one. So I'm just layering these all together like so. I know it's so hard to see everything. There we go. Okay, so see how I'm just starting to layer. Now I want to get some decorative pieces, and that could be anything. Wish I had some purple fabric. Let me see. Since I have purple and blue in my, I don't know if I like those together though. I'm just going to put it there for now. You can always see if you like it. And I had some yellow in there. There's a big piece of yellow. Woo! Oh no, all my ribbons went flying. There's a big piece of yellow I could put in here. Yeah, I wish I could hold this up so y'all could see what I'm looking at. Maybe a couple of the yellows, but they may be too chunky. It's okay if I don't use them. I'm just going to put them here to see for now. I'm trying to show you my bag at the same time, but I can kind of see. So these blues are good. I like these blues better. But I need some purple, and I don't have a lot of purple ribbon. Here's a purple. So I'm going to use it. 2, 3, maybe 3 pieces of it at 12 inches. Okay. Guess I will do this one. Now you've got all your pieces. Kind of stagger them out a little bit. You have to just play around with it. There's no perfect way to do this. And then you're going to find a piece of yarn or something that you want to be your tie-off part, like this right here. Okay, so I'm just going to grab one of those, a piece of that yarn. In fact, I'll just take one from here. Okay, no, that's not long enough. Just depends on how long you want it to be, but I'm going to do it longer than that, maybe about 16 inches. Maybe 18 inches. Okay, so now this goes underneath here. Okay. And then you're going to pull it up like this. Okay, you see how I'm doing this? But before we get too far, if you ended up wanting a wooden bead there, this is where you do the wooden bead. So I ended up buying a set, I think from Walmart or somewhere. So I would have some different sizes, and I like that giant one. So this is the one I used. I think it's 30 millimeter, something like that. And you could layer, you could do a couple of different ones if you wanted. So now I want to stick this through here. Can you use ribbon? Yes, you can use ribbon to tie it together for sure. It works just as good. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and pull it up, and then I'm going to start flipping this over. It's turning into a tassel now, right? And I'm pulling this down. You can kind of play with it and get it the way you want it to look. And then I just tied a knot to hold it together right here. Right there. And then I tied this like this so I could hang it on stuff. Just made a little knot here. Okay, so there's that. Now we're getting close to being done. So then now, and see, these need to kind of spread out a little bit. I had them too much in one spot. So just get it the way you want it. Keep playing with it. And then you're going to, uh-oh, that didn't stay there because that hole is so big. I'm going to pretend like it stayed there. Okay, so then you're going to take a piece of yarn and you're going to tie it around, or yarn or ribbon or whatever, and you're going to tie it around here. See how I did that right there? To kind of pull it in. So let's say I want this piece. I think I like the yarn better. Hold on. Make sure you have it all laid out neatly. I think the reason I use the yarn is because it goes further and it's not as expensive than the ribbon to use. And I'm just going to tie a knot right here, like that. And you can kind of blend that in with the tassel. Some of these you might want to pull down and get them back into place. Like that. And then what you'll want to do is trim the bottom and kind of, I don't have my good scissors here, but like try to trim them and make them more even like this one is. See how I just took the scissors and kind of trim that up? It takes a couple times to get it, like, but that's the steps on how to do it. What do you think? Can you do that? Yes, and just trim, 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 trim. The scissors aren't very good. But see, I need to work on this one to show the different pieces of fabric. So you just play with it for a little bit and then you'll get it. And then you can hang it on your bag. I just use this thing to hang it from, like this. Hang it like that down from there. Oh, it does look like an angel. It does need some arms. That's funny. That's funny. Yep, yep. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And yeah, I just want you to post your work in the group so we can all be inspired and do it together or see it together. All right. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. And I will see you soon. What's next? What's next? So next week I'll be posting, I don't know if you have, we'll be posting a new, no, I think you already have it since there was 5 weeks. The ABC, your homework for next week is to work on the ABC lettering, and you'll be doing S this week and then T next week. So, all right, I will see y'all soon. Bye.